In a major victory for online freedom, for internet azadi, the Supreme Court has struck down the draconian provision called 66A, describing it as something that has a chilling effect on freedom of speech and expression. In fact, the Supreme Court today described 66A as unconstitutional and said it has absolutely no hesitation in striking it down. Remember, this was a law that was brought into force by the UPA. However, in the court, the NDA government did not object strenuously to it either, arguing instead in favor of more safeguards instead of the abolition of the law itself. Now we go across to Information and Technology and Telecom Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad on a day when some would say that all politicians, both of the NDA and the UPA, have suffered a major embarrassment with this verdict. Thank you so much, Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, for your time. Let me start by asking you, I still remember the time when the Prime Minister, when he was still Gujarat Chief Minister, on Twitter actually blackened his photograph in support of the demand to do away with 66A. How did the BJP move from your prime ministerial candidate wanting it to go to your government actually arguing in favor of it staying in the Supreme Court? And in the light of that, how do you see the verdict today, sir?
Barka, I hope you do your homework well. And I'm very sorry to hear that you are putting me in the same category as the Congress party. Grossly unfair. First of all, I welcome the Supreme Court judgment. This case has been filed before we came to power. And 66A was framed in 2009 October when the UP was in power. Now, since the matter was sub judice, I could not have done anything to withdraw this or repeal the law. But what I did, when the hearing started, I got conveyed on my instruction to Tushar Mehta, the Additional Solicitor General, that don't proceed with the hearing. I am myself going to issue a very comprehensive guideline preventing any possibility of abuse by the police authorities while excising it. And I thought a lot of possibility, like no school children will be arrested, parental guidance and everything.
Yes.
The other side said, no, it is a validity question we want to hear. The court went. Now what I did, the earlier affidavit was negative, passed by the filed by the previous government. We filed a new affidavit. And three things are very important. A, we fully respect dissemination of views on the social media. It cannot be curbed for being critical. B, we respect the communication of views on social media and we don't want any interpretation which seeks to curtail Article 19(1)(2) freedom of expression. And the third, if the court believes that it cannot be saved under Article 19(1)(2), we said in written submission, then we don't support it. Therefore, our affidavit, and I have got the judgment, and let me tell you, we also assured the court that we will ensure it's not abused. The judges have said in the judgment that only because the present government is so sanguine of not getting it abused, we cannot trust the succeeding government. Therefore, our stand was, and this was because of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's intervention. I must compliment him because he specifically wanted the social media is here in the country to stay. We respect that. But you ought to have seen our this stand, and today you are blaming that we were part of the UPA government.
No. I am not drawing equivalence between the UPA and the NDA. My question is somewhat different. You know, Kapil Sibal defended at that time this draconian law by saying that the guidelines were sufficient. Today he is saying to our channel, Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, that the BJP did not oppose this law in Parliament. So today how can they blame us for it? So how do you respond to Mr. Sibal's remarks?
Barkha, this argument is intriguing. I don't want to have a debate with the former IT minister today. I have certain responsibilities. When the parliament debate was it, all of us have flagged our concern. But when the bill is passed, the bill is passed.
I have before me a submission made by Tushar Mehta in the court in February 2015. This is from newspaper reports of February 5th, 2015. Tushar Mehta tells the court, if the medicine is bitter, he's talking about 66A, if the medicine is bitter, then we can have sugar after it instead of throwing the medicine. People have to take the medicine as it is for their benefit. Are you saying that you actually disagree with the ASG Tushar Mehta's remarks in the Supreme Court?
Well, when argument goes for 10-15 days, at times some repartee comes. Because it was a law passed by the parliament. You must understand it. We had taken a position categorically different from what the previous government has taken. And I have got the entire affidavit before me. I hope I will not try to take your time by reading it. But what is the substance? The government does not want an interpretation which falls foul of Article 19(1), freedom of speech and expression, subject to reasonable restriction. Number 2, dissemination of views on social media cannot be curbed on the ground, it should be critical. We belong to a democracy and liberal society. And thirdly, if such an interpretation is not possible, then we don't support it. So that process, at times exchanges go away. Therefore, I have got the entire affidavit and I have got the entire judgment as to how our stand has been appreciated.
And you said the court recognized this, that this government did not want this law to be misused. However, when we look at what has happened to young people who have expressed a political opinion, sometimes just clicked like on Facebook, they've been put behind bars. And in Goa itself, in May 2014, there was Jaiveer Chodankar's case. He was booked by the police in Goa for a Facebook post in which he criticized Mr. Modi. Now, my question to you is, even on the BJP watch, even in BJP ruled states, the misuse of this law has taken place.
I will have to recall the entire facts of that case. You may have seen my Facebook, my comment on my Facebook and otherwise on what happened to that young boy in case of Uttar Pradesh.
Yes.
I was also uncomfortable with the cartoon show in case of Bengal.
Yes.
I must say very honestly, I have felt very uncomfortable what happened with 2 young girls in Maharashtra.
Yes.
I will have to check on facts. If I take an informed stand, I will take a uniform stand. But if the Prime Minister himself, and I must give credit to him, Barkha, on your show, when this whole thing came about, I went to him and he said, no, we have to take this very clear stand, we fully support social media.
Alright, the IT and Telecom Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad speaking to me earlier. Now to our debate in the battle between the net and Netas. Do all politicians basically not want free speech? They're all paying lip service today, welcoming the Supreme Court's verdict. But would even one of them have moved to ensure online azadi? Let's introduce our panel this evening. First, Shreya Singhal, who deserves everyone's congratulations and the country's gratitude. She was the petitioner, one of the petitioners in this case against 66A, really the moving spirit in having it taken down. We're also joined by Arvind Gupta. He's of course a senior BJP leader, but also the head of the BJP's IT cell and most of its social media campaigns and strategy. With me in the studio, Jaiveer Shergill, spokesperson and leader of the Congress Party. From Bangalore tonight, we're joined by another fellow petitioner in this case, to whom also congratulations are due, Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who is of course a member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha. And from Chennai tonight, we are joined by Ravi Srinivasan. He is a businessman. He was arrested for his tweets against Karti Chidambaram, the son of P. Chidambaram. And joining us from Bareilly tonight is Vicky Khan, a young boy who was arrested for simply sharing a post about Azam Khan. And Shreya, I'll start with you. Congratulations.
Thank you. What
made you go to court and how satisfied, how happy are you today? And do you believe that any politician on this panel actually wanted to preserve online azadi?
I'm honestly, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. It's not my victory. It's a victory for everyone who uses the internet, which is in India is virtually everyone. Yeah. And you know, it started off with a Congress government and now there's a BJP government, but they may have opposed it. But the really good thing is that now they're congratulating the fact, they're welcoming the fact that the government, the Supreme Court has struck down Section 66A.
But do you think this would have happened without the Supreme Court?
I don't know. I went to them because, you know, they're the highest court in the land. They're a neutral party and they safeguard our fundamental rights. And as the safeguard, and they are our guardians and they have upheld our fundamental right to free speech.
Let me get in Rajiv Chandrasekhar before I get the BJP and the Congress in this debate. Rajiv, there's a perception among people that no Neta wanted 66A to go. That even though Narendra Modi championed for it to go as Chief Minister, his government, and you just heard me asking Ravi Shankar Prasad that, did not fight for it to go in the Supreme Court. Were you disappointed with the stand that the BJP took in court as a petitioner?
I was disappointed in the early days of the government when I first saw an affidavit filed by the ASG which was almost identical to what the Kapil Sibal regime had filed, and I had a chat with Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad when I bumped into him in Parliament and pointed this out. And I think they made, he made a number of changes subsequently in terms of what the position that the government took. But frankly, I think the larger point at that point was that it was a constitutional question that was in front of a constitutional bench, and it was best left for the bench to determine what is right and wrong rather than a government get involved in it, and that was my take on it. I was disappointed, yes, early on, but I got a sense that they were leaving it to the court to decide.
Okay, Arvind Gupta, you heard what Mr. Prasad was saying right now. He was making the argument that you would have pushed for much greater safeguards. But to the Aam Aadmi and Aurat, that doesn't sound like a very fundamentally different position from the Congress. So has the BJP and the Congress, have both of you been embarrassed by the court today?
Oh no, we welcome this decision, and I think this is diabolically opposite from what the Congress regime was.
How is it opposite?
First of all, we championed the cause of, along with petitioners like Shergill and all. We've been on all panels where we have championed that.
But you didn't ask for it to go.
No, and I'm coming to that, Barkha. We asked for it in a very simple manner. We said that what we need is a convergence between the offline world and the online world. There is reasonable restrictions that still apply in how we behave, how we conduct ourselves in public domain, and those are reasonable restrictions are 19(2). And whether the Information Technology Act needs to have the same reasonable restrictions is what we have presented in the court. Okay. We have not stood by 66A. Okay. What we have stood by is that the same need to be mirrored in the cyberspace, and the freedom of speech and expression as per 91 should be applied to the online world.
So you're basically saying you asked for no greater restrictions than already exist in the penal code.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm hearing you say. Jaiveer, are you convinced? And before you find fault with the BJP's position today, the same Kapil Sibal who so aggressively defended the need to have 66A, your party brought this into law. Today you're all paying lip service to online freedom.
3 points I want to make. Firstly, it's very imperative, being a lawyer, I must say, that to understand on what grounds 66A has been struck down. Second, the rationale and Congress party stand. Third, way forward, in which I'll capture the BJP stand. First is, it's not stuck down on it being potentially misused or how it has been misused. It is stuck down, it doesn't mean constitutional standards. Neither of the offences relate to public order or decency. In fact, in para 35, the court says even if you send a wrong message to somebody, it might not disturb public disorder.
But the political question is that your party created this.
Yes, now coming to the political question. Law evolves with society, and today's society is evolving with technology. So our intent was not to curb freedom of speech or expression. We wanted to curb the online abuse. You're right. You're absolutely right. I concede to that. Maybe our intent was not well couched with the legal terminology.
In retrospect, you made a mistake and you were out of sync with the mood of the people and the principle of free speech.
Let me complete. Rajiv, please let me complete. I'll just
quickly. I want to go to the victims of 66A.
We were alive to the misuse. We tried to curb it. Still it went on. Third, on the BJP, let's call spade a spade. I have the judgment in front of me. Para 6, Mr. Tushar Mehta says, I am reading it, that we want it is constitutional. Para 91 says, please let it go on.
Okay, I'll allow Arvind a quick response, and then I want to go to the victims of 66A and hear from them.
I think the UP and the Congress have no right to speak on this today. I think they have abused it. Out of the one,
does any politician have the right to speak on this today? Doesn't the day belong to Shreya and Rajiv Chandrasekhar? Although Rajiv is also somewhat of a politician now. But am I hearing Rajiv trying to get a word in?
Let me say that, Barkha, absolutely. The civil society, Shreya Singhals need to be applauded today. They have carried the flag and got a very correct verdict. But whether we have played a role in this, we have played a role as an opposition, a very responsible opposition.
But not the same role in government.
No, and we are playing the same role while in the government. When this debate initiated, very quick response, we maintain a stance that we do need a law, which is, as I said, mirroring the offline world. But do we want to put any restrictions on freedom of speech and expression? No.
Okay, Arvind and Jaiveer, hold it. Rajiv's trying to say something, and then I want to hear from Vicky Khan. Rajiv, quickly.
Look, and at the risk of offending the Congress spokesperson, I mean, this is, it's a nice little spin now to put this as an evolution of a law. The fact that this was wrong in law and anti the constitutional guarantee of free speech was known way back in 2010.
Absolutely.
People like me raised this repeatedly in Parliament. There was a full-fledged debate with a motion that was brought to Parliament, and Kapil Sibal on the floor of the House agreed to look into this and create some changes.
Okay.
An agreement was then met in the floor of the House. A commitment was given in the floor of the House. but the government did nothing. So this is not some natural evolution of a law that was enacted in a din in Parliament in 2008, pushed through without any debate, and now it needs to be amended.
But
this was a law that was wrong in the way it was passed. It was a law, it was wrong in the way it was architected and implemented. It was a law that was found to be wrong many times, but it was stubbornly refused to be acted on by the government of the day. It took the Supreme Court to intervene. I have personally spoken about this in Parliament and had to go to the Supreme Court only because the government refused to listen to many MPs who raised this issue in Parliament.
And therefore my point would be that was any government, the Congress created the law, but did the BJP really stand up to kill it? I think that's the question today. Now I want to hear from Arvind. Hang on one second. I want to hear from Ravi Srinivasan from Chennai and Vicky Khan from बरेली. विकी, सबसे पहले आपसे पूछूंगी कि आपको जेल में डाला क्योंकि आपने आजम खान के बारे में एक कमेंट शेयर किया. बाद में पता लगा कि आजम खान ने वो बयान दिया ही नहीं था, वो गलत बयान था. लेकिन आप बताइए, आप क्या करते हैं? आप स्कूल में हैं, कॉलेज में हैं, क्या करते हैं आप?
जी मैं कॉलेज में हूँ, श्री शर्मा स्कूल में, और मैंने फर्स्ट ईयर का रखा. इंटर का मैं फार्म दे रहा हूँ. इंटर का फार्म मैं भरूंगा इस बार.
अच्छा. और आप कितने दिन जेल में आपने बिताए?
जी मैंने 2 दिन बिताए हैं. और
अब आपको समझ आया है कि आज किस तरह का वर्डिक्ट आया है सुप्रीम कोर्ट से कि जिस लॉ के अंदर आपको अरेस्ट किया, अब वो लॉ, वो कानून अब है ही नहीं?
जी अब पता चला कि 66 हट गई है, उससे तो बहुत खुशी मिली है.
जी आपको डर लगा जब आपको जेल लेके गए? आपने कुछ सोच, अब आगे से जब आप इंटरनेट यूज करते हैं आपको लगता है कि खतरा है इसमें? किसी चीज को लाइक करना, किसी चीज को शेयर करना, किसी चीज को व्हाट्सएप करना, कुछ डर सा लगता है कि आज वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट की वर्डिक्ट के बाद डर चला गया?
नहीं, अब भी थोड़ा बहुत डर है दिल में और दिमाग में. इसका जो हो चुका है, जो जेल में जा चुके हैं, इससे थोड़ा बहुत डर है.
अभी भी डर है?
जी हाँ.
Okay, before I get the politicians in and I go to Ravi, Shreya, I want you to speak to this. It will take some time for this to percolate down. For a young schoolboy who has gone to jail for 2 days because he simply shared a post that he had no way of verifying it.
It's shocking. I mean, that's the reason, that's the shock that I felt when the Maharashtra arrest happened, when the 2 girls who spoke about Bal Thackeray, in West Bengal, those arrests. That was the chilling effect. That was what was so shocking to me, that one of them liked something, one of them questioned why a city was shut down for something so innocuous. I mean, India is such a large country with so many diverse and dissenting opinions that half of the country should have been in jail by now under section 66A for anything they said online.
And I want to put this to both Arvind and Jaiveer. Arvind, one of the points that the minister made was that we kept telling the court we have no intention to misuse the law. But I gave the example of the young boy or the young man rather in Goa who criticized Narendra Modi. He was arrested. That was a BJP ruled state. In Maharashtra, the arrests were made for a comment about Mumbai shutting down for Bal Thackeray. 2 young women who were so scared after that they would cover their faces before
they were arrested for their protection. I've never heard of that happening, to be arrested for your own protection.
So the people are extremely cynical that both of your parties, you may have created the law, you didn't do enough to kill it because none of you actually want even an Aseem Trivedi to go out and make cartoons about Parliament.
No, and here what Rajiv Chandrasekhar just said, I must reiterate that, is that on the floor of the House we were assured on May 17th, I think it is when Mr. Arun Jaitley debated this on this very same issue, and we are assured that there will be a review and a stakeholder discussion will be done. One meeting was called as a lip service and nothing further was done. 3 years have passed since then. And then since we have been in power on this, I think there has been a clear shift in stance. First of all, this freedom of speech and expression is not only about...
What made you different from the Congress? One line and then I'll take you to Jaiveer. One line.
Is that we respect freedom of speech and expression more than anybody else does. Congress, I don't think so has any right to speak about it. We believe this is integral to digital India, innovation and creativity.
And I will explore that a little bit because I did give you an example of Goa where an arrest took place in a BJP ruled state. But Jaiveer, hang on. I have here Ravi Srinivasan from Chennai. And Ravi, you were arrested for your tweets against Karti Chidambaram. Even today, after 66A is down, this is the statement that Karti is giving. this is not a license for people to say slanderous and defamatory things about anyone. Despite ample abuse of 66A, there is also unfettered abusive criticism on social media. There must be protection for the fair name of an individual. Ravi, your thoughts today. Karti Chidambaram still sticking to his guns, saying that there needs to be some sort of censorship, some sort of moderation of what's said on the internet. With retrospect, given that you were put in jail for the comments you made about him, would you do it all over again?
Baka, thank you. I mean, first of all, I would like to thank Shreya and Rajiv for their wonderful job, and all the petitioners. I think Somnath Bharati also deserves credit. And Shreya, you have made us all free man today.
Thank you.
I'm very happy for it. Barka, coming back to your question, Mr. Karti Chidambaram has his own rights. I don't dispute that. But if you go through the tweet I have done, and if you happen to read it again, there is nothing dangerous or innoxious or threatening about it. I think what he says may be a general statement.
But you know, Ravi, I'm so sorry I'm interrupting you, because talking about tweets, we have a Twitter bomb that the BJP has to deal with or without 66A, and that's General VK Singh. And he's speaking right now, so I'm just going to step off topic for half a moment, because we've got to listen to what he's saying after his Twitter bomb. It fits in with the topic actually. No 66A here, no stopping General VK Singh anyway.
When in May 2014, I took to the office of Minister of State of External Affairs, I was aware of the duties and responsibilities that came with this office. I am also a soldier who has led the 13 lakh strong army of this country, and by virtue of this I am privy to many things which others may not be. I am also a loyal member of the party and the present government, and would not have joined otherwise. Therefore, there should be no doubt how I stand on the government policies. Attending the Pakistan Day celebrations at the Pakistan High Commission in Delhi is one such protocol that every Minister of State of External Affairs of the Union Government of India has followed in the past and will continue to do so in future. There was nothing new in it, including attendance by separatists who have been there year after year. This was made out as a nationalistic event, while there was no difference from previous years. The only difference this time was of optics, as a previous Chief of Army Staff was being seen, though people forgot that he was a Minister of State in the present government. After I came out, I saw the uncalled for media lashing and questioning my nationalistic credentials. Some even went as far as to claim that the attendance has lowered the morale in the army. As ex-Chief of Army Staff, I know my men better. Even though my party and government understood the issue, the media kept on hyperventilating. My tweets on duty and disgust, which came under lot of scrutiny and misinterpretation over the past 24 hours, has left me perplexed and shocked. I was shocked at the way certain sections of the media attacked my Prime Minister, my government and me for making these statements. Given that a controversy has erupted around this issue, I feel that it is important for me to clarify that my tweets were directed only towards those sections of the media that have questioned the intent of my government and also the stance on countering Pakistan-sponsored terror. I feel that it is also important for me to clarify that I am fully committed to my party and government, especially my Prime Minister. My tweet on definition of duty was clearly to tell all as to what it implies to a soldier and to a disciplined party. I stand in unison with my party in working for a better India. As I always say, nation comes first, always and every time. Well, I'll convert it into Hindi. जब मई 2014 में मैं मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट विदेश मंत्रालय में बना था, तो मुझे अपने दायित्वों और काम के बारे में पूरी जानकारी थी। याद रखिए कि मैं एक सैनिक भी हूं जिसने 13 लाख फौज की कमांड की है, और इस कारण बहुत सी ऐसी चीजों के बारे में जानकारी है जो शायद दूसरों को ना हो। मैं पार्टी का एक मेंबर हूं, पार्टी के ऊपर विश्वास रखता हूं, और जो हमारी आज की सरकार है उसके अंदर नहीं आता अगर मेरी ये धारणा नहीं होती। पाकिस्तान डे की अटेंडेंस जो है, जो वहां पर मौजूदगी थी पाकिस्तान हाई कमीशन दिल्ली में, ये एक ऐसा प्रोटोकॉल है, एक ऐसा कार्य है जो हर मिनिस्टर स्टेट को जो एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स में आते हैं, हमारी सरकार के अंदर ये पहले भी करते रहे हैं, आगे भी करते रहेंगे। इस सेलिब्रेशन के दौरान, इस अटेंडेंस के दौरान कुछ नया नहीं था। मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट आज तक जाते रहे हैं और अलगाववादी सालों साल से इस फंक्शन में आते रहे हैं। इस बार सिर्फ एक फर्क था, वो था ऑप्टिक्स का, एक दृश्य का, क्योंकि अब की बार एक पुराना चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ इस फंक्शन को अटेंड कर रहा था, लेकिन लोग बाग इस चीज के अंदर ये भूल गए कि वो पुराना चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ मौजूदा सरकार का एक मंत्री भी है। मैं जब फंक्शन के बाद बाहर आया तो मैंने देखा कि मीडिया इस चीज को एक अलग तरीके से दिखा रहा है, बल्कि उन्होंने ये कहने की कोशिश की कि मैं और मेरी राष्ट्रवादिता के ऊपर शक है। यहां तक कहा गया कि इसके कारण हमारी सेना का मोराल नीचे होगा। एक पुराना सीओएस होने के नाते मैं अपने जवानों को सबसे ज्यादा बेहतर समझता हूं।
All right, General VK Singh there addressing a press conference clarifying his mysterious tweets that have embarrassed the government and made many believe that India's position has been embarrassed. But General VK Singh saying that his disgust, as he tweeted, he used the hashtag duty and then he used the hashtag disgust. But he's saying his disgust was with the sections of the media that questioned his nationalism for attending an event that he did so not in his capacity as former army chief but in his capacity as a junior minister in the Ministry of External Affairs. His family also scorching rumors that he is offered to resign. That press conference is still on. We'll see if he takes any questions. But meanwhile, on this program today, we try and decode these tweets. We try and see why this year, unlike any other year before, there was so much fuss and fury over this reception that was held at the Pakistan High Commission. Let's introduce our guest this evening. We're joined by Manishankar Iyer. Manishankar Iyer is of course a Congress leader, but he's also among those who attended that event. The Congress, by the way, today has said that since VK Singh can't sack the government should sack him. We also have Subramaniam Swamy, the ever outspoken leader of the BJP. Dr. Swamy argued that there should be nobody sent from the government to this event and that General VK Singh is his own man and he doesn't have to kowtow to a kind of herd mentality. However, clearly the government is not happy at General VK Singh's tweets. We're also joined by Brahma Chilani. He's of course one of our preeminent strategic affairs analysts. Thank you so much. And we're also joined by General Shankar Prasad, who was on this program last night, first questioning the optics of a former army chief and the message that might send to soldiers at an event that's also being attended by Kashmiri separatists. Dr. Subramaniam Swamy, what do we make of this? The fact of the matter is that General V.K. Singh now seems to be in damage control. He now seems to be saying that disgust was with sections of the media that was questioning his nationalism. But you were among those, clearly in a minority in your party, who thought nobody should have gone at all. Now, isn't this a gigantic mess and an embarrassment for the government?
There was no way to assess whether I was in minority or majority.
Well, going by the fact that a decision was taken.
Yeah, the Prime Minister's, it is Prime Minister's call, the government's call on who should go.
Yeah.
I certainly think it was wrong to send anybody in the present circumstances to the Pakistan embassy from the government. There was no need to, particularly since they had invited people who wanted to dismember India, and that's what the opinion expressed.
But if General V.K. Singh was so uncomfortable about going, though today he's trying to say that he went as minister and not as ex-army chief, couldn't he have just said no?
He did say no in the beginning, but then he was told that...
You're saying you have information that he did say no?
I have
because the government is arguing that he knew several days ago that he was the person chosen to represent India at the reception.
I don't want to get into details, but I'll tell you definitely that he had made it known that he didn't want to go. But then he was told that his name has been selected and he must go.
So why didn't the BJP send someone else?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's something I've not been able to figure out. But because he's Minister of External Affairs, he's been quite active in the embassy circuit. So maybe they thought that he would be the best person. I don't know.
Mani, you were actually there and you've written a long piece about why you went. But your party has questioned the attendance of General V.K. Singh as an example of the BJP's confused policy on Pakistan. Do you share that assessment of the Congress, and do you believe that General V.K. Singh should have been pushed into the corner that he was by sections of the media?
It does reveal the confusion of the government. I mean, they could, if they had internally discussed this, it wasn't imperative that only General V.K. Singh go. Sushma Swaraj could have gone. They could have sent Subramaniam Swamy. But
I'm trying to imagine that.
Yeah, they sent me as the chief representative about 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember quite when.
Yeah, when the Congress was in
when the Congress was in. So it's not necessary that only a minister go. You can have civil servants go. Sometimes the foreign secretary or someone goes.
Yeah, there have been
years and you can have somebody who is taking a particular interest in that country, as I do in Pakistan, go. So there was a range of choices before the government. If they chose to send General V.K. Singh, and then he sends out these ambiguous messages thereafter, then clearly it is a government which is in confusion.
Brahma Jilani, you actually said on Twitter that the government should stop facilitating these separatist meeting with the Pakistan High Commission, and I remember saying to you at that time, but how are you supposed to stop private citizens from attending a private event? Now, given this complete fiasco, there is no other word for it, this has ended in a fiasco for the government. Do you believe that General V.K. Singh has embarrassed the government, notwithstanding his clarifications this evening?
I think we have to look at the broader picture. The government began well on Pakistan policy, but since the Obama visit 2 months ago, there have been 2 policy somersaults on Pakistan. There was one U-turn. No sooner than Obama had returned home, Modi telephoned Nawaz Sharif and conveyed his decision to resume bilateral talks by sending the Indian Foreign Secretary to Islamabad. That was one U-turn. A second U-turn followed soon thereafter, when India conveyed to Islamabad that the Pakistani High Commissioner in New Delhi can meet Hurriyat separatists on any occasion other than before the start of bilateral talks. So in keeping with this advisory of the Indian government, the Pakistani High Commissioner first met with Saeed Ali Shah Gilani right after the Foreign Secretary level talks, and then this week he met with the 7-member Hurriyat delegation.
So you're saying the BJP did a U-turn on its own red lines that it had drawn? That's what I'm hearing you say.
India's Pakistan policy today is adrift. The return of terror strikes in J&K is one manifestation of this adrift policy, and this confusion over who should attend the Pakistan Day event is another manifestation of this drift. For example, coming specifically to General V.K. Singh, as a former army chief, he deserves due respect.
So you're saying he shouldn't have been put in that place?
It was inconsiderate of the government of India to send a former army chief to an event which was bristling with the presence of Hurriyat separatist leaders.
Now, just to say, General VK Singh has just said that he has not offered to resign and nor has he been asked to resign. So we just want to bring us viewers up to speed with that. General Shankar Prasad, you on last night were the first to say the optics are wrong. What is a former army chief doing there? What message is this sending to soldiers? But General VK Singh just now himself said, I did not go as former army chief. I went in my new avatar as minister. Now, if you have taken on a new responsibility, even if you were once army chief, can you really keep bringing up your past role?
No, Barkha, we have to look at the thing in a bigger perspective. There are the Hurriyat separatists attending a function.
Yes.
Who are anti-India.
Yes.
There is a requirement of a government's policy towards Kashmir, which we are not understanding what it is.
Yes.
It is somersaulting every now and then, as Brahma just said. In that context, VK Singh going there and then tweeting about it. Now, these are the three distinct issues which we must look at. Now, the point is, the Chief of the Army Staff, General VK Singh, retired, who is currently Minister of State, continues to draw pension of a retired Army Chief.
Yeah.
His current salary, which he draws from the government, is that of the Minister of State, which is a differential, whatever it may have been, between his pension as the Army Chief and his current emoluments as a Minister of State.
Okay.
Therefore, for anyone to say that he has no role to play as an Army Chief, I am afraid I am not able to understand this.
But General Prasad, what do you make of his tweets? General Prasad,
one minute, Barkha. Okay. Even after retirement, every service chief is addressed as chief. When I meet General Malik, I say good evening chief.
Okay.
Or when I meet General Wage, I say good evening chief.
Okay.
So chiefs are chiefs forever. That's point one.
Okay.
Point two, I made the remark about the pension. Now let me talk about his tweets.
Yeah.
His tweets, which came out on television last night itself and early this morning, confused everybody. Those tweets actually were highly confusing.
Yes.
General VK Singh, in his interview, which was just telecast a short while ago, has clarified those issues.
Yes.
In such matters, if he had gone there and come out, the best thing is that famous dictum, silence is gold. I wish he had kept silent.
Okay.
The fact that he tweeted something is subject to interpretation by various people in various manners,
I think that's
particularly in the light of government's policy in Kashmir, and particularly the way the Hurriyat is there, and particularly the way the Hurriyat is making statements,
okay, General
and
Prasad,
the government's policy.
Okay.
So please look at it in the overall context.
Okay, Subramanian Swamy, do you believe that given that the Prime Minister was involved, and this we know for sure, in the decision to A, send a representative, and B, for that representative to be General VK Singh, do you not think that General VK Singh's tweets were undermining the authority of the Prime Minister? Was it not rebellion in the ranks?
I don't think so. I mean, if you go back during the early years of after freedom,
yes,
Sardar Patel used to publish his letters on what was the Tibet policy, or what is happening in East Pakistan then, and I think we have to learn to accommodate these expressions.
But there you're clearly saying that the disgust was with having to go to the event and not with the media, as is now being used as a shield for damage control.
Well, he's an army man, and I think he felt very strongly, because he has a great deal of followers. You must remember that he won Ghaziabad with the largest possible majority.
So you're saying your party forced him to go? The Prime Minister forced him to go?
My information is that he had expressed clear view that he doesn't want to go, and that he was told that you have to do it as a duty. And he said, okay, in that case.
And you don't think his tweets have embarrassed the government today?
I don't think the government doesn't get embarrassed with these tweets. You see, tweets are not to be taken.
Well, I think the government should be embarrassed that it sent General VK Singh to an event like this. When you send a former army chief to a Hurriyat infested event, who should feel embarrassed? Those who sent General VK Singh, or should General VK Singh be embarrassed? As Mani said, there was no need for the government to send a Minister of State for External Affairs to that event. There was no need to send any minister.
But if
even the foreign secretary could have gone there.
But then, Brahma, there's a deeper question here, because if a chief is a chief for eternity, as General Prasad is arguing, then maybe the army chief should not be in politics. Once he's in politics, he has a different role.
Exactly.
Well, one has to be sensitive to the status of an individual. The government should uphold the dignity of the office of the army chief, even if the person no longer is the army chief. There is a dignity attached to the office of the army chief.
So you are blaming the government for this fiasco and not General VK Singh?
Of course. The entire responsibility for this fiasco falls on the shoulders of the government.
Mani, I heard you agreeing with me saying that maybe the army chief should not be in politics.
Yeah, it should not be in politics.
But
no, if the army chief, if he wishes to continue forever as an army chief or as a retired army chief, then maybe he shouldn't go into politics. But that doesn't stop an army chief or any army officer from having the right to go in. After all, we saw General J.S. Arora doing a fantastic job as a member of parliament, although it was an anti-Congress job, but he did a very good job. Similarly, we saw Roy Chowdhury doing it. So I don't say that we should not have army chiefs in politics, but I think we can make a distinction between an ex-army chief, which is a matter in the past, and a politician in the present. What has embarrassed everybody is that having given in to the demands of his post as Minister of State, he should then be sending out ambiguous messages indicating that he is disgusted. Now he can cover it up as he wishes, but it's quite obvious that he didn't like what he wanted to do, and I think it shows a lack of moral fiber which is despicable in an army chief, that he should do something so much against his moral principles. I will put that to the panel,
but one question to you. You know, Syed Ali Shah Gilani at that same event, when asked by reporters, made an inflammatory remark. He said there is no terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, for a former army chief to have to be present at an event where the media is later reporting this was said, you've got to admit that it's got to cause discomfort.
Well, that's up to the government to decide, and if the government makes the mistake of pressurizing an unwilling minister to go, and then the minister shows his disgust at what happened by sending out a tweet, well, it just shows that this government doesn't deserve to exist.
So, okay, that's a little bit hyperbolic, but Subramanian Swamy, the BJP has not quite known how to handle this. I think we've got to admit that. And when you say this is an example, Sardar Patel also had a mind of his own. If General VK Singh really felt so strongly, he could have simply declined to go.
He did decline to go.
No, and stuck to that.
No, that I think would be wrong, because he has a duty to perform and he must go, and I think...
But you can't express disgust at your duty.
Why not? I mean, this is not... We should
he performs his duty and then expresses his disgust. I mean, what kind of a human being is this?
Well, there's never been a case of a minister not going to a event like the National Day, even though he's been designated as the government's representative. It's never happened in India's history.
You're saying he couldn't have said no?
He couldn't have said no.
What should he have tweeted after that?
Well, the tweets were innocent, you know.
Really? You thought they were innocent?
They were innocent because...
Innocent meaning, weren't they conveying a message?
They were conveying personal anguish on his part.
He didn't. He conveyed his disgust, not his anguish.
He was addressing his followers who may have been disappointed as to why he went.
That's right.
Okay, General Prasad, you said silence is golden. Did General VK Singh actually need to address the very same constituency that you were saying would have been confused yesterday?
Yes. You see, if you put out a tweet, let it be very clear. Let that tweet not be interpreted by two different people in two different manners. It is highly confusing. Last night, everybody got a different viewpoint of what he tweeted. This morning, there was yet another method of looking at it. And by the time we heard his interview a short while ago, there was a different clarification. Why tweet a thing which can cause confusion in people's mind? People are very perceptive. They are looking at this matter very seriously. There is this Kashmir policy. There is this seditious activity going on. There is the government of India not wanting to go to Pakistan talks because of Hurriyat issue. And here, there are tweets coming out. Why are we leaving it to different interpretations? There are doubts in people's mind. Can we not make a very clear tweet? Should we definitely want to make one? Why are we leaving it to different interpretations? Okay. And now you're giving a clarification which people are still doubting as to whether it is correct or incorrect.
And Brahma Chilani isn't the joke on India. I mean, Pakistan's got to be laughing at this whole scenario.
I think this VK Singh controversy obscures the real issues. The real issue is that Pakistan today has reason to gloat over how its unending intransigence has force India to return to the negotiating table. That's one thing. And two, India has given Pakistan a virtual license for its High Commissioner to meet with Hurriyat separatists in New Delhi.
They have been doing it for more decades than I've been in journalism. Except
this government suspended bilateral talks 8 months ago on that very issue.
Which was a silly thing to do.
And has reversed this policy now by conveying to Pakistan that its High Commissioner can meet with Hurriyat separatists except when any round of bilateral talks are about to happen.
You're saying that's a mistake?
It's a mistake because it emboldens an enemy, it emboldens Pakistan's roguish behavior, it encourages Pakistan and its conviction that if Pakistani provocations lead to a fresh suspension of talks, it will not be because of Pakistan's behavior. In fact, India will return to the negotiating table sooner or later because of two factors: US pressure and the blow hot and blow cold traditions of Indian foreign policy.
Mani, are you not even a little disturbed by the fact?
Did you see the cartoon today, Barkha?
Which cartoon, General Prasad?
There was a cartoon in the Mail today saying, let's get some more olive branches from India. And there was a militant being massaged by some military officers. Now that said a lot of what Pakistan is looking at, what happened in the last couple of days.
Okay.
And as Brahmacharani says,
sorry, once again,
this is what is really the serious major trouble to us.
Manichankar Iyer, are you not even a little bit disconcerted by the fact that elected representatives of Jammu and Kashmir are never called to these functions, that the only recognition the Pakistanis want to give is to people who are outside of the electoral system?
No, because I don't draw up the invitation list. And I don't feel that I cannot be in the presence of the Hurriyat because the Hurriyat are Indian citizens. Even if they don't regard it as such, I regard them as Indian citizens. And I certainly don't feel embarrassed when I meet them, as on most Pakistan national days I have been meeting him.
Even though they don't think of themselves as Indians, they are clearly secessionists, they declared secessionists.
But they are Kashmiris, they are our citizens. When they went abroad, we gave them Indian passports.
Yes.
They took those Indian passports. Therefore, it is part and parcel of our duty of governance to be in touch with dissidents, to understand the causes of their dissidence, and to try to at least edge them back towards being part of our country and our people.
But make no mistake, Pakistan's Hurriyat stooges are there to take diktats from their Pakistani handlers, not to ensure peace and stability.
But even our intelligence agencies have had a line to many of the separatists in Kashmir, Brahma. We all know that. We've seen intelligence officers in 2010 reaching out directly to them.
Furthermore, the last thing we want is for Indian citizens to be treated by the Indian government like Pakistani citizens are treated by the Pakistani.
Okay, quickly, and then I want to go to
But may I just ask a question?
Yes.
Would Pakistan allow any Indian diplomat to meet with Baluch secessionists or with the protesters?
I'm sorry, I have met them. I was an Indian diplomat in Karachi and I had the honor of hosting this dissident and sometimes very dangerous Subramaniam Swamy. I took him to the press club and I sat with him as he abused Indira Gandhi. They came and praised me for saying that this is a real democracy.
And Dr. Swamy, I just got an SMS on my phone from somebody who's in the JKLF who says, please ask Dr. Swamy, wasn't he also at the Pakistan High Commission event in 2013?
Yeah, but that time there was none of this problem.
There's always a problem with Pakistan, isn't there? So, but you went. Your nationalism not questioned.
I've been to Pakistan 5 times. I have a great friend of Musharraf and Ziaul Haq. And I certainly think that if it's possible to have good relations, good. But today I'm of the view that the civil society in Pakistan doesn't exist in terms of power.
No, that's now a different debate.
Yeah, well, therefore,
that's a different debate. But if you can be a nationalist and attend the Pakistan event, why blame poor money?
It was at a time when Musharraf was giving us assurances that he would not, and he kept those assurances that he would not allow terrorists to cross into our border.
Okay, last thoughts on General V.K. Singh now from all of you.
Well, I think the V.K. Singh thing has just been blown up. It's something we must learn to accommodate in our democracy.
General Prasad, do you agree? Because the army teaches you all about discipline. And the point is, either you accept, once you accept an order, you don't complain about it later.
That's absolutely correct. But Barkha, I think we need to put this thing completely off the media. Let V.K. Singh continue as Minister of State the way he is. I do not know what the Prime Minister and his CCS is going to discuss and decide today. But I think the message has been sent loud and clear, not only to V.K. Singh, but to the entire population, that there has been some error of understanding,
or at least of handling and messaging. Okay, 30 seconds each. Money will start with you. When you say the Pakistan policy is adrift, there's confusion in the government, what to you has been the biggest example of this confusion?
What happened in August. Then after it was decided that the Hurriyats would meet with the Pakistan High Commissioner on the 8th of August, it takes them till the 18th of August as the Hurriyat arrives at the doorstep of the Pakistan High Commissioner to suddenly blow up the best initiative they'd ever taken. And if this is not, and then now, I don't know why they have suddenly changed, but they've impaled themselves on the horns of a dilemma and obviously don't know how to get off.
I've got to end, 30 seconds.
After 10 months in office, Modi must fix the broken Pakistan policy that he inherited from Manmohan Singh rather than try to concoct a mirror image of the same policy. First and foremost, India must abandon the notion that it has no choice but to stay stuck in the same old failed policy of engaging Pakistan even as Pakistan remains intransigent. And secondly, India must not facilitate Pakistan's interactions with the Hurriyat separatists.
Got to leave it there. Brahmachalani, Manishankar Iyer, Subramanian Swamy, Janashakti, I'm out of time. We are saying goodbye here, but
I just want to make one point, Barkha.
Okay, one sentence. Yeah, I'm out of time.
We need to get.
Do you think the army people should be brought to discipline?
Policy.
I'm soft on the army, so I allow them an extra say all the time. But General Shwekar, I'm out of time, so one sentence. One sentence, come on.
We need to be clear about what is the government policy towards Pakistan and what is the government policy towards the separatists.
And I will just end by saying that on a day when Section 66A was struck down, there is further evidence that you don't need draconian laws to get into trouble on Twitter, and every politician is coming to terms with that. So General V.K. Singh's press conference highlights coming on the other side of the break. Thank you, gentlemen. That's it from the entire team. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.